When I heard that Waltz of the Wizard was the number 10 top-selling game on the Quest right now, I was like, that game from back in 2019? But a new Scully's Unruly Reactions update has breathed a lot of new life into this OG game. There's a funny skull that you can hang out with, whether you're trying to drown him, shooting arrows at him, or just hanging out. It's making its rounds on social media, bringing this game back, and with 2,600 ratings, about a 4.4, but now people giving it 5-star after 5-star in the recent, saying it's really fun. The update is awesome. If you're looking for a new game to jump into or an old game to revisit, Waltz of the Wizard might be worth another look. Ghosts of Tabor quickly became a top-rated shooter on the App Lab before it went to the main Quest store, and now that it's there, it's been staying in the top-selling apps. Basically, this is like Escape from Tarkov, but in VR. You are dropped into points, you gotta get what supplies you can salvage, and then get out alive. So you gotta choose between whether you find good loot and you try to get to the extraction point, or whether you stay in longer, try and take out the other teams and get their loot, although oftentimes you're gonna lose everything if you take too many risks. Over 12,000 people giving this just above a 4-star rating, from people saying it's a great game, people saying they absolutely love the extraction style of it, to some people in lower reviews saying it's just too hard, or that there's still glitches this long after release. But if you love an intense shooter with a real risk versus reward feeling, this could be the one for you. Virtual Desktop was one of the original ways to use your PC wirelessly on your Quest, including playing PCVR games, and with that, it's still popular enough to be number 8 on the top selling list. You gotta have good internet and a good router, but with that, you can play all kinds of PCVR games free from wires. More recently, Oculus dropped their version of this with AirLink that doesn't necessarily cost, but there's still a huge group of people dedicated to Virtual Desktop saying it is the superior way to play. And with that, nearly 9,000 ratings, giving it about a 4.2 rating. Even 4 days ago, people saying this is still the best wireless PCVR. It's better than the Steam app, it's better than Meta's AirLink. And with the reviews still mixed between people who absolutely love it and some people who get it new and don't realize that there is features in it like the keyboard they were looking for, or people just expecting more environments. But the developer's still actively working on these and responding to even the most recent reviews on the store. Pavlov Shack is probably the biggest known shooter in the entire VR world, although for years it was free on Quest in beta, and when it was gonna finally release with a price tag, a lot of people weren't excited about that after playing it for free for so long. Seems that didn't slow it down any, as it still shows up here number 7 on the list. Pavlov Shack is a shooter with all kinds of game mode, from 5v5, search and destroy, there's deathmatch, just zombie modes. A lot of people say basically it's everything from Call of Duty you'd hope for in a VR shooter, and with nearly 4,000 ratings, still about a 4.1 rating. So many people saying it's the best shooter ever, they absolutely love it, but people complaining about the exaggerated kickback in the guns, making it harder to play. People complaining that they were able to play it for free and now they're expected to pay for it. A lot of that feedback unfortunately comes when developers finally take their game out of beta and it does have a price tag, but it's still selling well regardless. When Bone Lab was about to come out, people knew this was gonna be a game changer for VR, although people going a little far saying it was gonna change the world forever and all that, but it is still, even this far after launch, a force to be reckoned with. This is a physics-based playground sandbox game, but they built in mod support that gives it tons of more life if you're willing to add that to it, and it's popular enough to garner 25,000 ratings and about a 4.7-star rating. Most reviews highly positive, 80% 5 stars, but there is people saying if you're just gonna play the main game as they give it to you, it doesn't give you much life at a price of $40. Early reviews talking about some of the glitches that were had in the game, and people talking about the mod support gets messed up through updates and other issues that they don't like. It's not a lower priced game on the list, but if you are someone who's into the mods, the amount of fun you can have, or you just want to play around and make memes in this game, there is a lot of options to do that. Job Simulator never ceases to amaze, as it was one of the first VR games out there, and yet it is still always one of the best-selling games. A game that should probably be on every headset for when you put new people into VR. This game is set in the future. People no longer work, robots do all the jobs, so if people want to, they can go back and experience what it was like to job. Although it's hilarious because the robots don't really know what the work was like, and it's a lot of funny cliches and jokes spread in throughout it. And they continue to add updates to the game too, where there's unlimited overtime mode and more things you can do to try and keep the game fresh. 18,000 ratings, giving it about a 4.8-star rating. So many reviews saying it's the most fun, it's the best game, you've got to have it to demo to new people. And most all of the low reviews are talking about an issue with either the height being off or not being able to adjust the environment around them the way they need to. Although as someone who's played a lot of this game, I've always had it work fine for me and anyone I demo in it, and now you can even play it just with hand tracking if you want to try it controller free. Among Us VR is one of the games on this list that's under $10, which means I won't be able to give you a referral link down below, but for most of these games, there will be a referral link that will save you a little bit of money. It's through Oculus's referral program, which is where you can give your friends codes to games. It'll save them 25% and you get $5, although we're so maxed out on credit that we're not going to get anything out of that. So if that's something you're interested in doing more of, we do have a Discord you can join with a whole section just for referral links where you can get referrals to a game before you want to buy it, or you can give other people referral links to theirs, potentially earning those $5 credits so you can buy more games. There'll be links in the comments and description to all that down below if you're interested. But Among Us VR is Among Us, the huge game that absolutely blew up back in 2020 when everybody was stuck inside. It's a game, teamwork, betrayal. You're on a crew, you might be an imposter, you might be others, but it's up to everybody else to kick out the imposters before they end up killing all of the crew. And the VR version is a faithful recreation with some great VR mechanics implemented and a low price under $10, over 6,000 ratings, giving it just about a 4-star rating. People saying it should be a 5-star. They absolutely love it. It's perfect Among Us, but most lower reviews citing the people that you run into in the lobbies, the community. Definitely a game that if you have a group of friends, get in with them, play it together, and you will have a blast. Go into a random lobby and who knows what you're gonna have. Asgard's Wrath 2 is considered one of the few AAA fully playable just on Quest games that's out there. This of course developed first party, a follow-up to a really cool game called Asgard's Wrath that was on Rift, and with multiple good reviews and ratings, people saying it's a masterpiece, game of the year. It's one on the list that you definitely need to try and might be one that you got free if you got a Quest 3. Otherwise it's going to cost you $60. This action adventure game has over 4,500 ratings, giving it about a 4.1 star. People saying they love it. People saying they love RPGs and this one really does it for them, but people in the lower reviews talking about there has been bugs that cause them an issue and even some game-breaking bugs that stopped them mid-game from being able to finish it. Although this is a well-loved game and it looks really good on the Quest, those kinds of bugs are something you don't really want to see in a game that's this high priced, but hopefully if you got your Quest before June, you got this free anyways. It's no surprise to see Beat Saber showing up as one of the top games on this list. The worldwide phenomenon, one of the games that really helped bring VR to the mainstream. Beat Saber has a lightsaber in each of your hands listening to popular music, whether it's ones you can buy in the game or ones that you've modded in, and 50,000 ratings, giving this over a 4.5 star. People love the game, they say it's great for fitness, it's just addictive to keep on playing and get better at, but some more recent reviews also citing some problems with the updates, and anytime it does get updates, a lot of people complain about the fact that their mods get broken when that happens, as the game doesn't really officially support all of that modding. But Beat Saber is one of the games I've spent the most time in myself in VR. I absolutely love it. I've bought it on way too many platforms for way too much now, and especially the song packs also really add up. But if you have a headset and you don't have Beat Saber already, it's one of the basic ones you just have to have, in my opinion, whether for you or for everyone else who wants to play it on your headset. We recently talked about Exit 8 VR on our upcoming games list, and it gets an honorable mention here because it almost made the list of top selling games right now. Game's only $7. It's a creepy game that puts you in the underground passageways in Japan. Anomalies, you're trying to find your way out and escape. And this of course is the VR remake of the flat game that was wildly popular. And so far, 90 ratings, giving this about a 4.5 star rating. People saying they love the game, they're hoping to see more, but at the price, it's more than enough content. People liking the new additions, the new anomalies from the original game, and almost no low reviews, the occasional person saying that they had an issue with the game that stopped it from working, but so far well beloved and a very low price. And although it fights for the top spot on the list, this time Blade and Sorcery wins out over Beat Saber. Remember, these are paid games, so a free game like Gorilla Tag can't make the list, but Blade and Sorcery, no matter the psychopath simulator, you put your friends in it, even your nicest friends, and all of a sudden they're throwing people off bridges and cutting people's heads off. This is the Quest-specific edition, although the original game on PC is nearing its final launch when it's been in early access for many, many years, so we may see the same changes coming to Blade and Sorcery Nomad on the Quest here soon. But right now, if you're wondering what are most people buying, it is Blade and Sorcery. What do you think? Is there a game that should have been on the list in your opinion? And why should it have been there? What's your favorite game in VR? I'd love to know in the comments so I can talk to you about, but also other people can go see what other people are liking and upvoting as their favorites so they know what games they should look forward to. Thank you once again for being here with me. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in another reality.